Epic Greek-style music with drums and strings narrator. In the early 19th century, the Ottoman Empire was one of the most powerful empires in the world, stretching across 3 continents. But within its borders, a small nation Greece would rise in rebellion. A rebellion fueled by centuries of oppression, the spark of nationalism, and the dream of freedom. This is the story of the Greek War of Independence, an epic struggle from 1821 to 1829 that changed the course of European history.
Narrator, to understand the Greek War of Independence, we must first go back. For nearly 400 years, Greece had lived under Ottoman rule. After the fall of Constantinople in 1453, the Byzantine Empire collapsed and the Ottomans absorbed Greek lands into their empire. Greek culture, language, and the Orthodox Church survived, but life was hard. Heavy taxes, loss of political autonomy, and forced conversion to Islam weighed heavily on the people. Yet, even under Ottoman rule, Greek identity never disappeared. Secret schools known as Kryphoskoleo taught the Greek language and Orthodox traditions in defiance of the authorities. Across Europe, the Enlightenment and the French Revolution inspired new ideas of liberty and nationalism. For Greeks living abroad in Russia, Italy, and France, these ideas planted the seeds of revolution. Change to tense, suspenseful music. Narrator. In 1814, in Odessa, a secret organization was born, the Kolokotronis, the Society of Friends. Its mission, to unite Greeks everywhere and to prepare for a great uprising. Their motto, freedom or death.
The revolt begins -1821 narrator. The first sparks of rebellion ignited in March 1821. Alexandros Ypsilantis, a Greek officer in the Russian army and leader of the Kolokotronis, crossed into Moldavia and Wallachia, calling for Greeks and Balkan Christians to rise up. But the revolt was crushed by Ottoman and Russian forces within months. However, in the Peloponnese, central Greece, and the islands, the uprising caught fire. On March 25, 1821, a date still celebrated as Greek Independence Day, Bishop Germanos of Patras raised the banner of revolution. Peasants, priests, and merchants joined the cause. With cries of Eleftheria Thanatos, freedom or death, the Greeks launched attacks on Ottoman garrisons. Town after town fell to the revolutionaries. The Ottomans, stunned at first, soon retaliated with brutal force. Villages were burned, thousands were massacred, and the cycle of vengeance grew. Somber music narrator. One of the darkest chapters came in April 1822, on the island of Chios. Ottoman forces slaughtered tens of thousands of civilians, enslaving women and children. But instead of crushing the revolution, the massacre shocked Europe and stirred international sympathy for the Greek cause.
Guerrilla War and Heroes 1822 to 1825. Narrator. From 1822 onward, the war turned into a bitter struggle of sieges, naval battles, and Greek leaders emerged as heroes, each with unique styles and rivalries. Theodoros Kolokotronis, a brilliant strategist, became the soul of the revolution. He organized peasant fighters into effective guerrilla forces, ambushing Ottoman armies in the mountains. His victory at the Battle of Dervenakia in 1822 crushed a major Ottoman expedition and secured the Peloponnese for the revolution. On the seas, Greek islanders from Hydra, Spetses, and Sarah turned their merchant fleets into a formidable navy. Using fire ships, small boats packed with explosives, they destroyed much larger Ottoman warships. Admirals like Andreas Miaules and Constantine Kanaris became legends. But the war was not without division. Rival Greek factions fought over leadership, and civil wars broke out in 1823 and 1824. These conflicts weakened the revolution and almost destroyed it from within. Still, the dream of freedom held strong. In 1824, the Greeks even declared a provisional government and drafted the first modern Greek constitution, one of the earliest democratic charters in Europe.
The Ottoman counterattack -1825 narrator. By 1825, the Ottomans sought help from one of their most powerful allies, the ruler of Egypt, Muhammad Ali Pasha. His son, Ibrahim Pasha, led a well-trained Egyptian army into the Peloponnese. Unlike the poorly armed Ottoman troops, Ibrahim's forces were modern, disciplined, and ruthless. They swept across the land, burning villages and enslaving entire populations. Greek resistance seemed doomed. Even Kolokotronis struggled against this new threat. At sea, the Egyptian navy threatened to crush Greek control of the Aegean. By 1826, Athens itself fell to Ottoman forces. The Acropolis, symbol of Greek heritage, once again under foreign occupation. Music turns dramatic, rising tension narrator. Europe watched closely. Intellectuals, poets, and politicians in the West had long admired ancient Greece, the birthplace of democracy, philosophy, and art. To see the modern Greeks struggling for freedom against tyranny inspired a powerful movement, Philhellenism.
International Intervention -1827 to 1829. Narrator. Across Europe, sympathy for the Greek cause grew. The famous poet Lord Byron even traveled to Greece, raising funds and morale before dying in 1824 at Missolonghi, where a heroic Greek garrison had held out for over a year against Ottoman siege before being annihilated. Byron's death made him a martyr of freedom. By 1827, Britain, France, and Russia decided to intervene. Their fleets sailed to the Ionian Sea to pressure the Ottomans. But at Navarino in October 1827, tensions exploded into a full-scale battle. The combined European fleet destroyed the Ottoman Egyptian navy in a single day, one of the most decisive naval battles of the 19th century. With Ottoman sea power broken, the tide of war shifted. Russian armies invaded the Balkans and marched toward Constantinople, forcing the Ottomans to make concessions. French troops landed in the Peloponnese, pushing out Ibrahim's Egyptian forces. The dream of independence was becoming reality.
Victory and Independence -1829 narrator. In 1829, the Treaty of Adrianople between Russia and the Ottoman Empire recognized Greek autonomy. Finally, in 1830, the London Protocol formally established Greece as an independent state. The struggle had lasted nearly a decade, costing hundreds of thousands of lives. Towns lay in ruins, families were torn apart, and old rivalries lingered. But Greece was free. The modern Greek state was born, with Ioannis Kapodistrias as its first governor. Though small, limited to the Peloponnese, central Greece, and some islands, it marked the rebirth of a nation that had been enslaved for centuries. Conclusion: triumphant music, with visuals of Greek flag, monuments, ruins, and modern Athens. Narrator: the Greek War of Independence was more than just a national struggle, it was a spark that inspired oppressed peoples across Europe. It showed that even a small nation could rise against a vast empire when fueled by faith, unity, and the dream of freedom. Today, March 25th is celebrated every year as Greek Independence Day. The cry of freedom or death echoes in the memory of a people who proved that liberty is worth any sacrifice. This was the Greek War of Independence 1821 to 1829. A war of heroes, martyrs, and a nation reborn. Fade out with Greek traditional music and visuals of modern Greece.